Hello everyone, Jurassic Man here, and today we're going to be taking a look at this new Jurassic World Dino Rivals Mega Duel Attack Amargosaurus. Now this is one of the figures I've been waiting for almost a year now, and I'm so glad I'm able to catch this in time. I couldn't get it when it was first released in Amazon a few months ago, but I did manage to get it when they relisted it with more stock in hand than they did before. So without further ado, let's get right into the review. The first thing I want to notice is that it says new right here, which means these guys are still being released with the new packaging on it. Not like new packaging, but as the new packaging. Meaning that these guys are barely still coming out, which means there's still a lot in stock that still has a new logo on it, which means there's plenty more to come in the future. And those that like to get variety in their collections too. So, it has the same dual attack line that we do see for the past of this year. It's the same background of the Fire Jurassic logo, and the same battle of the Dino rivals of the T-Rex, the Triceratops, and of course Owen for no goddamn reason. Whoops. Well, we already know what Jurassic World logo and the Jurassic World packaging is for the Dino rivals. Let's get to the back of the box, which actually has some difference. So far, I have everything in this dual attack line other than the Stegosaurus. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I don't really mind because the Stegosaurus is my least favorite in the Jurassic World line. Not my favorite dinosaur. I mean, it is my favorite dinosaur, it's just not my favorite toy. The Lost World still holds for me. But, yeah, we get a nice diorama of the Amargosaurus right here. It looks more lighter than it is in the toy itself. But since this is a Mega Duel Attack, it has more action features than the other ones. Of course, there's a collector's card, but I already took that out off post. And of course, it still has the old Jurassic World Facts app logo in the very top. So, without further ado, let's get this guy out of the package. Whoosh. One of the more interesting things about this figure is that not only is it another Sauropod in collection, as far as I know, we only have 2 at the moment, but it is also the first Diplodocus dinosaur, as Amargosaurus is part of the members of the Diplodocus family, which a lot of people saw only lasted in Jurassic, but the last living members I think were the Saltosaurus. No, Saltosaur was a Titanosaur, but the last living members were these guys. Small-necked and not as bold as they were back during the Jurassic. They're actually a lot smaller than they were from the Jurassic. Because, well, limitation pushed them to this role. South America seems to be a haven for sauropods, aka Titanosaurs, the much better successors to the old sauropods such as Brachiosaurus. And thus, they grow into a role much smaller and much more better in their environment. Of course, they didn't live in the same time, but Carnotaurus is a creature that does hunt these guys. However, I don't think Carnotaurus actually managed to hunt any Diplodocus as far as I know. Might have been some other dinosaurs, but nonetheless, we got another South American animal, next to the Herrerasaurus and of course the aptly mentioned Carnotaurus. Nice representation of the southern continent, I gotta say myself. So what's so important about the Amargosaurus? Well, it is actually one of the few sauropod figures we had in the line. We only had one hatchling, I think, for the old series, along with other ones that are Brachiosaurus and Apatosaurus, I think. And we got the Jurassic Park 3 one, which is iffy to a lot of people. But now Mattel seems to deliver by giving us more sauropods / Titanosaurs in the future line, and hopefully. So far, they only grasped on sauropods, as we got the Amargosaurus, the Brachiosaurus, and the... Actually, no, that's not a sauropod. Anyways, without talking too much about science, let's get to the real important thing about it, the Amargosaurus. Now, I know a lot about Amargosaurus anatomy history to know that these spines are possibly the most definitive feature of Amargosaurus. And I'm glad Mattel managed to include them in a way that would actually look nice. Instead of some speculation of the spine being fully covered by muscles, which will probably hinder its movement, and without the exposed spines, because these are spines, however they are webbed, and I don't think there's any evidence of these spines breaking off like that of Dimetrodon. But this webbing does make it nice and look cool, to my opinion, because even though the spikes are very more impressive, it will probably be very hard for Mattel to do. But yeah, the coloration on the Amargosaurus is a very nice brown coloration. I don't know what kind of brown it is, maybe a tan brown. There's no paint on the other side of the body, which is kind of a shame. Maybe a lighter color of this brown color they have here. But nonetheless, the coloration on this is very good to me. The black with the brown does work well with here, along with the contrast of the red. And of course, the face isn't left unpainted, as there's a nice bold paintage that is much different than that of the back of the box. The eyes are just a solid black, but that's what you see in a lot of the herbivores, as the carnivores are the ones that have the more eccentric eye colors. And it's actually one of the few to actually have their tails painted all the way to the tip. As you can see, the spine barbs. However, if I had to say an inaccuracy, would have to be the Amargosaurus' spines. They weren't spiked up like this, like a fin or a sail. The Amargosaurus' spine would have been like that of the Acrocanthosaurus, meaning they would have been much flatter and much bolder instead of waving back like this, like a Spinosaurus. In fact, Spinosaurus is like that too. However, Spinosaurus has an exception, but Amargosaurus doesn't, as they're more lower, which means they would be more covered in muscles. What I'm trying to say is, from the back of the head all the way to at least the shoulder would have been a spine like this. Everything else would have been a flat lump. Kind of like how you see those arching depiction of Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, and all those other guys. But yeah, coloration on this is good. Detail wise, it is pretty good, but like I said, there is a lot of colors that would have looked good in some spots that would probably hide some of the blander details, like on the underbelly. They seem to never do much on the underbelly. It's always on the sides, the legs, and everything else, but the underbelly is always undetailed, not that very much. Heck, Lennar does a better job on their belly sometimes. But without getting this distracted on the line, we could say that the details on this guy is eccentric. It is very nice. I really like the wrinkles that they come up with here. Of course, like always, they're always shrink wrap, but you know what? It's what you get. The head itself, I don't know, that screams Amargosaurus to me. It looks more like a... how do you put it? It does not look like a Amargosaurus to me. Amargosaurus would have more of an a Diplodocus more head, and Diplodocus heads were more narrow and pointier than that of the Brachiosaurus and such. It has a very hadrosaur head, if I'm trying to say here. A very squished hadrosaur head, if I gotta say. But even then, the hadrosaurs actually look much better. So the face is inaccurate in a way, but the overall design is pretty okay. It does look like an Amargosaurus, and it does look convincing enough. Just some minor details here and there. One thing I do like to mention is the feet. The feet on these guys are how we kind of think sauropod feet would look. Though these sauropod feet are actually pronated. What a lot of people don't know is that they don't walk flat way. They actually walk like this on their sides. So yes, the feet are inaccurate, but they are very distinctive and they are painted. Mostly. The big toe is there, so that's a really good job on them there too. And overall, I like it. It's not a perfect Amargosaurus, I gotta say. Maybe some other ones in the future. Some other toy lines. But for Mattel or Jurassic World Amargosaurus, and how Jurassic World is very inaccurate, it's alright in my book. It matches very well with the style of the series. So, let's get right into the action feature on this guy. Now, like a Mega Duel attack, it has two action features, one on the back and one on the front. And main the backside, we have the back plates here, such as like that of the Suchomimus. It's not very strong in mines. I don't know how strong it is for everyone else, but the tail action is pretty good. Now the head action is very weird to me. It does work well on that speculation that Amargosaurus' spines would have been perfect for when predators bite down on the back. They would use their spines to reek up and protect them, along with keeping their head down and letting the spikes do all the work from predators biting down on them. Which would work well since Amargosaurus is pretty small, and the predators would have been dwarfed by it. Or, they would have been dwarfed by their own predators. I'm trying to say here. But yeah, it's a really good action feature. Maybe not the best. I kind of wish it was articulated like, like that. But it's what we get. But yeah, there's the Amargosaurus' action feature, details, and so on. So, let's get right into the comparisons. My first comparison would have to be Alan Grant. Usually I save the humans for last, but I want to show an example. Amargosaurus in real life is actually pretty small. Much smaller than, I think, this. Maybe not too small, but around that level. But yeah, Amargosaurus is a pretty small sauropod, to say the least. So this is pretty accurate in my opinion. Next we have a comparison of the Moosesaurus and the Colovosaurus. Now the Moosesaurus is a prosauropod, which means they came before Amargosaurus during early Jurassic. And in real life, Moosesaurus would have been actually around the same size of Amargosaurus. This is just a misunderstanding, as it's called a mouse dinosaur or mouse lizard, but in real life that was just a baby. And of course the Colovosaurus was a previous reviewed figure, and as you can see here, it looks pretty good. And here's a comparison of the Carnotaurus, another South American dinosaur that lived not in the same time, but I think around the same area. Actually, Amargosaurus appeared in the Margaret Valley, I think, in South America, while Carnotaurus was somewhere else. But either way, they both lived in South America, not in the same time period, but in the same era as the Cretaceous period. So this is more early and that's late. So what I'm trying to say is that these guys are good. This also gives another hint of my next video. Hopefully you guys will see that soon. But obviously, these guys are not compatible with each other, as we already first mentioned, the Carnotaurus should be much smaller than this. Maybe the size of the Roarvors line like the Allosaurus is, and this should have been the size of the Allosaurus. But it's what you get. Alright, so what should I think about the Amargosaurus? Well, it is very well detailed. I really like the paint job on it. The accuracy is very thin, but it is Jurassic World series, so we gotta, add to that. And scaling on it is pretty good. I really like the action feature, I do. It's very working for me now that I'm thinking about it more. But overall, I feel like this Amargosaurus could have done a bit better. Whoops. There goes that shot. That works too. So, I had to give the score for the Amargosaurus. I would say it's a 4.9 out of 5. Again, that 1% would have to go to accuracy. A little nitpick from me, but I really want accurate dinosaur toys. Luckily, we got Beasts of the Mesozoica and another few dinosaur action figure line that are coming out in the future. But overall, this is a really good figure. I do not know where they sell or how much they sell on other stores. I think around $15. But you can get these guys in Amazon currently at the release of this video. Hopefully, you guys can get one soon yourself if you want one in your collection. But yeah. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you guys on the next one.